During his NHL career of roughly 16 seasons, Matt Cooke quickly gained the polarizing reputation of being one of, if not the dirtiest and most reckless players in the league at the present time. The disregard the forward displayed for the safety of his opponent was arguably unprecedented. In this video, I'm going to go over Cooke's top jerk moments. So get comfortable and grab the popcorn, because we're going to be here for a hot minute. During his time in Pittsburgh, Cooke seemed to elevate his antics while delivering cheap plays on a consistent basis. And it was during Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals of 2009 that Chris Osgood was the apparent target in this contest. Near the beginning of the third period, after an attempt to jam the puck in net while on the crease was squandered by Osgood, Cooke, out of frustration, decided to mix things up and immediately kicks his skate up towards the netminder's head in retaliation. The play went uncalled and no supplemental discipline was dealt to the forward. Now obviously, the playoffs have a way of getting the most disciplined players to take unwanted penalties. It's just the nature of the beast. But for Matt Cooke, who was making questionable plays on almost a daily basis, this was nothing new. During Game 3 of the first round, with his new team in St. Paul, Cooke was up to his old habits. Not long after the second period had commenced, the forward took it upon himself to acquaint his knee with that of Avs defenseman at the time, Tyson Barrie's. The hit itself immediately ended Barrie's postseason ventures, who wasn't able to skate for 4 weeks, reportedly due to the damage done to his MCL. For his actions, Cooke was dealt a 7-game suspension due to his lengthy history of plays such as this. Although he was made to sit out most of the remaining postseason games for the Wild, the forward lost no income in results. Barrie declined to accept any condolences or get well wishes following the incident from his perpetrator, saying, "It was a pretty emotional time for me, and I just said I really didn't want to talk to him," Barrie says. "It was tough to sit there and watch the team play, so I really wasn't feeling it." As you'll quickly learn if you haven't already, Matt Cooke in his day lived up to his reputation of being a headhunter, and he did just that during a regular season meeting in 2009 against the New York Rangers. In the first half of the third period, as forward Artem Anisimov was admiring his pass, Cooke decided to capitalize on the opportunity by leaving his feet and blindsiding him on the play. This time though, Cooke's wallet wasn't so lucky, as upon the 2-game suspension that was dealt to the forward, he was made to forfeit $22,300 in results. It could be easily said that on the game that took place on October 15th of 2010, no one despised Matt Cooke more than Islanders netminder at the time, Rick DiPietro. Why? Well, when a player blatantly goes out of his way to see you run into on 3 different occasions, it's definitely motive for distaste. The first occurrence, embellishment or not, Cooke was given a minor penalty for goalie interference during the first period, and within the first few minutes of the final one of the contest, Cooke struck again. But this time, the forward decided to get a little creative by allowing one of the goaltender's teammates, who was obviously unsuspecting, to do the dirty work for him. Cooke could be shown shoving into the netminder before skating into the crease. And yet again, Cooke was made to sit in the penalty box to reevaluate his actions. Almost immediately after returning from the sin bin, Cooke decided to yet again run into DiPietro. With his back turned to the goaltender, and unsurprisingly in result, was given his 3rd penalty for goalie interference of the contest. If there was one player who definitely perfected the art of getting his knee in position to injure players, it was Matt Cooke. As Cooke, over the course of his career, delivered several debilitating blows to his opponent kneecap on kneecap. And this time in Dallas, it was Valeri Nichushkin who got the brunt of Cooke's carelessness, as the forward, while bringing the puck into the neutral zone, was quickly stopped in his tracks. Fortunately for Nichushkin, who wasn't hurt on the play, remained in the game. Cooke, however, was given a minor penalty on the play. Following the Mark Savard incident that took place roughly a few years earlier, Matt Cooke was the most wanted man in Boston, and by the NHL team that represents the city. And it was during Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bee that Cooke made sure to remain in the nightmares of Boston fans all around. During the second period of the contest, as Bruins defenseman at the time, Adam McQuaid, went to make a routine play behind the cage in the defensive zone, he was viciously checked from behind by number 24. The 6'5" blue liner immediately fell to the ice while being briefly incapacitated. As a scrum ensued in front of the net, while McQuaid struggled to get to his feet, the refs, after taking some time to mull it over, issued the forward a 5-minute major for boarding and a game misconduct. During a regular season tilt against the Buffalo Sabres, Cooke, while getting involved in a scrum near the boards while coming to the aid of teammate Tyler Kennedy, decided to go after initially Jordan Leopold, but was met with resistance from defenseman at the time, Steve Monador. As the two tussled near the boards, Cooke decided to get a sucker punch in, while Monador was lying in a defenseless position and proceeded to strike the blue liner while he was vulnerable. As punishment, Cooke received 2 minutes for roughing and a 10-minute misconduct on the play. And yet another instance of Cooke acquainting his elbow with his opponent's head took place during a regular season meeting against the Arizona Coyotes. As defenseman, Keith Yandle was fixing to pass the puck behind the net. Sound familiar? Yandle was immediately struck in the head, compliments of Matt Cooke's elbow. The blue liner fortunately remained in the game, and so did Cooke after serving a minor penalty for roughing. No supplemental discipline was dealt to the forward following the contest. This time, however, when Cooke decided to go headhunting, he faced more than just a timeout. During a regular season match against the Carolina Hurricanes in the first period of play, Scott Walker, who had just passed the puck while coming through the neutral zone, was immediately blindsided by Cooke on the play. Walker, after initially trying to confront his perpetrator, could be shown exiting the playing surface and didn't return to the game. Cooke was given an in-game penalty of 2 minutes for interference and later supplemental discipline with a 2-game suspension. In one of his least savory plays to date, Cooke yet again took it upon himself to intentionally try and cause his opponent harm. And the lucky target in this tilt was Rangers defenseman at the time, Ryan McDonagh, who, while trying to dump the puck in from center ice, was viciously elbowed while attempting to make a play. Cooke, who purposefully launched his elbow into the blue liner's head, was immediately ejected from the contest, upon receiving a 5-minute major for elbowing and a game misconduct. Following the game, the forward would be dealt the steepest punishment of his career, and was suspended for 10 games. Unknowingly, when Erik Karlsson took the ice in Pittsburgh, it would be his last contest of the season. As Karlsson went into the boards while attempting possession, Cooke, who wasn't far behind him, awkwardly fell into the blue liner while attempting to pin him to the boards. With his left skate up high, Cooke, accidentally or not, sliced through Karlsson's Achilles 3/4 of the way through his skate blade. As play was blown down, the defenseman could be shown wincing in pain while struggling to get off the ice. Karlsson, who would arguably never seem the same after the incident, underwent surgery to repair the laceration and was out for the rest of the season. After receiving an apologetic text from Cooke, though, Karlsson decided not to respond, saying, "I received a text but didn't think too much of it and didn't reply. I don't think we have anything to say to each other," he says. Following the incident, however, Cooke was able to finish out his season after receiving no supplemental discipline for his actions. Out of all the jerk moments that could have taken number 1, this one beat them by a long shot. Why? Well, when a guy's career is pretty much ended due to a careless and dirty hit, it doesn't get much worse than that. And for Marc Savard, who was playing for the Bruins at the time, his days in the NHL were numbered, as soon as he took the ice for a regular season meeting against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The hit took place in the final minutes of the third period. After Savard got a shot on goal, he was immediately ran into by Penguins forward at the time, Matt Cooke. The hit itself immediately incapacitated the Bruins forward, who had suffered a hit to the head while being blindsided by his opponent. Savard, after being wheeled off the ice on a stretcher, was later diagnosed with a grade 2 concussion. Cooke, on the other hand, walked away scot-free, and also remorseless, saying, "I thought the hit was shoulder on shoulder. I got hit the same way my shift before by one of their defensemen," he says. As you probably know, despite returning to the ice after missing 23 games with injury, Savard, after suffering yet another concussion, the forward had no choice but to hang up the skates.
get it goes better too. Hit hard. Matt Cooke just crushed it.
And Toombs down, and Broussard has gone after Matt Cooke.